Hello, class. So, in my remix of my argument, I put it into a PowerPoint because that's the best way that I know how to convey a lot of information to an audience that will make it easy to digest and learn from the topic. And obviously, the topic I picked was the benefits of a 2-year mandatory military service. And this is important because I truly believe that it will help the youth of the nation uh, open their eyes to what is it means to be part of a nation. It means to, have patriotism and love for your country and love for one another. And right now in the United States, I don't see it. I see a lot of entitled people who feel that they should be able to get away with whatever they want and just live their life uh, as they see fit. And, this wouldn't be a problem except for the fact that I've, seen this throughout my life where the youth just walk all over everyone. And I blame everyone. As a nation, we have failed to provide guidance and direction to the youth of the nation to point them where they need to be going in life. So that's why I picked this topic. Here's the agenda of the things that I'm going to discuss. So it all begins with boot camp and military training. These are the things, the 5 key things that I believe you will learn no matter where you go when it comes to boot camp. Whether you're in the Marine Corps, Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, they're all going to teach you these key 5 skill building lessons that you can apply to your life moving forward. And it helps open one up to know what they're getting themselves into, whether it be staying in the military or going on to a civilian career after the military. But it makes you a more upstanding citizen in my eyes. So the military provides you everything you need to function, live, etc. There's a joke that goes on saying that everything provided by the military is in your duffel bag, and if it wasn't in your duffel bag when you join the military, then it's not needed. So, but they do provide you with all of the major things you need to live, be successful, and stay healthy. And that's all outlined here. So these are things that popped out at me as to what we're seeing across our nation as problems. Yeah, the dropout rate is not that much higher. It went from 33% to 40% across the past 22 years, but it's still an increase. And then I picked the crime index because if you look anywhere in the news these days, no matter what outlet you pick, there's a lot of crime going on. And I picked 3 nations across the planet that have a mandatory service. And many of these nations, the people are very proud of their time while they're serving. And it's, especially Israel is a big one where you want to be part of the most elite forces. And it's, it's a building block. And if you are part of those, you're looked on as elite. And so those are things that, I picked up from my research that we don't really have here in the United States, and I think this will definitely help to not just the youth, but the older generations will see that, hey, maybe this isn't such a bad idea, because the audience isn't just the youth of the nation. It's everybody, especially the government, because they have, for this to happen, they would have to instate it, and you want to make sure that the government sees this and sees this as a positive to help move forward. Now, there are a lot of benefits to the obligation. Obviously, the big one is the post 9/11 GI Bill, and I've laid out what you get and how you can use it. The living allowance, I'll expand on. It's a basic allotment of housing for equivalent to an E5 with dependents based on the zip code of where you're physically living or where you're going to school. And that can range anywhere from $500 a month to $1,800 a month if you're living in Hawaii. So uh, it behooves you to pick uh, cost of living to be financially secure while you're going through finishing your degree after you finish your service. Um, One thing that they have now that was introduced while I was in the service was the blended retirement program, which did not exist. And this provides anybody who joins the ability to build a 401k with matching up to 5% to help them be successful post-military, providing them with a nest egg for stepping off to either, buy a house, buy a car, pay rent, whatever, what have you, to make them successful, or at least a stepping stone to get them on the path to becoming successful. Whereas when I originally enlisted and I got out I left the Navy prior to joining the Army, this program didn't exist. And so all I had was my VA benefits and my GI Bill when I got out. And so this is definitely a step up from what I had. So, of course, with everything in life, there are cons. And the cons to the military service is you're going to get minor injuries, and the big ones is sprains, strains, and muscle pulls, and that can come just from doing the basic physical training that you conduct. And obviously, there's going to be cases where you might break a bone, have an injury due to environmental. Since there is no war that we are currently obligated to, the people, or at least people who join, if this ever becomes, a real thing, uh, don't really have to worry about developing PTSD from a war zone or combat zone kind of uh, environment. So you would, if you did develop it, would be through just the stress that you dealt with over 2 years of military service. So, one thing that I want everybody to know, especially when it comes to this, is people ask me about, who will be excluded from this program. Well, so here's the thing. This program isn't going to exclude anybody. And when I mean anybody, I mean males, females, non-binary, LGBTQ are all subject to this. The only two ways to get out of this would be if you went to one of the service academies, which you then will do your ADSO upon graduation with your bachelor's degree. So you're not really getting away from it. You're just getting a bachelor's degree in lieu of doing the 2 years, and then you serve your 5-year service obligation for receiving your bachelor's degree from one of the service academies. The second is when you go to the evaluation center, they're going to do a medical evaluation. And if you have medical issues that will keep you from doing this program, then you will obviously be exempt from the program. So, with that being said, when it comes to finding out where you're going to be, what you're going to do, you have to take an aptitude exam called the ASVAB. And based on that score, will provide what services you can go into, what jobs you can go into. Not all jobs in the military are combat related. Many of them are support, like human resources, the food industry, supply, transportation. So if you're worried about being frontline combat, it just doesn't necessarily mean that's what will happen. But in conclusion, the positives are vastly there for anybody to become successful post this, and I believe this will build our nation, minimize the crime, or not, well, maybe not minimize, but lower the crime, and the youths of the nation will be set on a path of success, whereas right now they're kind of just meandering out there on their own without drive. And with this, we can really help to fix the youth of the nation. So here are my cited works. I hope that this has been a eye-opening learning experience. If you have any questions, don't feel don't be afraid to email me, and I'll be glad to answer anything that maybe I didn't cover or you thought was pertinent that I missed. So thanks for your time, and I hope you have a great summer.